Germany abandons even formal denazification. It's not far off the day when the Roman salute could once again become a common greeting among Germans. The Western country's tolerance for Nazism in Ukraine is likely to lead to its resurgence in other states, particularly in Germany. Recently, Germany reversed a decision by the Ministry of Defense that had added Wehrmacht officers to a list of honored heroes. Neither the addition of this list nor its reversal would normally attract significant attention. Each country honors its heroes if the list had not included Nazis from the SS and members of the NSDAP, Nazi Party. This indicates that the German Ministry of Defense did not even question whether these figures could officially serve as examples for current German military personnel. Did society react with outrage? Well, we'll wait and see. This incident is highly indicative of contemporary Germany. If a person was part of Heinrich Himmler's organization, took an SS oath, participated in the mystical rites of this organization, wore the black uniform, and then became almost saintly after the war, this does not negate the fact that he was a member of an organization condemned as criminal by the Nuremberg Tribunal. For example, one of the individuals on the new list is Erich Hartmann, a Luftwaffe ace. He is considered the most effective fighter pilot in history, with 352 confirmed kills according to official records from Göring's forces. However, even German pilots doubted these numbers, as do some modern historians. Hartmann was a favorite of Hitler and one of the symbols of Nazi propaganda, so it is likely that some victories were simply attributed to him. Nevertheless, this is not particularly important. After the war, Hartmann was sentenced by a Soviet court and spent 10 years in camps. However, he apparently showed no remorse. In his memoirs, he recounts feeding a captured Russian pilot and having a friendly conversation with him. He hopes that the pilot, upon returning to the USSR, told the truth about the Germans rather than the propaganda that, according to the German ace, was spread in the USSR during and after the war. At the same time, Hartmann acknowledges that some terrible things undoubtedly took place. Yes, just minor details: Auschwitz, the siege of Leningrad, millions of civilians and prisoners of war tortured and executed by the Nazis. He showed no remorse. Instead, in his interviews, he talked about how he was a tough guy, how he refused to work in the Soviet camp, and demanded his rights. If a Soviet prisoner of war had refused to work, what would the Nazis have done to him? A rhetorical question. Hartmann returned alive and well, immediately joined the West German Air Force, where he became a squadron commander and eventually attained the rank of colonel. Another figure from the list, Erich Topp, one of the most successful U-boat commanders of the Third Reich in terms of ships sunk, rose to the rank of Rear Admiral in the Federal Republic of Germany. The process of denazification in West Germany has always been ambiguous. On one hand, publicly, it was proclaimed that Germany had severed ties with its Nazi past, that Germans were ashamed of what their forebears had done. The Federal Republic of Germany, FORG, supported Israel financially and militarily and welcomed Jewish émigrés, as if atoning for the Holocaust. There was a story from the 1970s about a German teenager who wanted to hang himself upon discovering that his grandfather had served in the SS. On the other hand, former members of the NSDAP included Chancellor Kurt Kiesinger, Federal President Walter Scheel, and Minister of Economics Karl Schiller, who was not only an NSDAP member but also a stormtrooper in its paramilitary units. And of course, Hans Globka, State Secretary to the Federal Chancellor and a close friend of Konrad Adenauer, was one of those who created the legal framework for the Holocaust. He was likely behind the idea of mandatory Yellow Star of David badges for Jews. Their Nazi past did not prevent them from having remarkable careers in the new Germany. Thus, denazification in the Forge has largely been a formality. However, it now appears that Germany is attempting to abandon even this formality. There is the official history, and then there is the familial one. It seems that grandfathers who served in the Wehrmacht and the SS were not particularly keen on sharing tales of their lost war with their grandchildren. But occasionally, after a few schnapps, they might recount how they killed Russians, the heroism of the Germans, and how victory was within reach if not for the madman Hitler who dragged Germany into a war with the entire world. Now, the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of these heroes take pride in seeing German equipment moving through the roads of the Kursk region. Journalists from the tabloid Bild do not hide their pride that Ukrainian forces are using German equipment in their attacks on Kursk. Moreover, German journalists have expressed confidence that it is thanks to German tanks that a state of emergency, likely referring to an anti-terror regime, has been declared in the Kursk region. Deputy Chairman of the Security Council Dmitry Medvedev stated that this reporting is revanchist in nature, and he is absolutely right. According to media reports, the aforementioned list, dedicated to military tradition, was updated with wear-matched officers due to Defense Minister Boris Pistorius's demands for combat readiness of the Bundeswehr amid the Ukrainian conflict. In other words, in response to the West's confrontation with Russia. So it is not far off when the Roman salute may again become a commonplace greeting in Germany. This is a logical outcome given that Germany is not merely turning a blind eye but actually endorsing the glorification of Nazi collaborators in Ukraine and the rise of neo-Nazism there. Germany, along with other Western countries and Israel, is pretending that nothing untoward is happening in Maidan, Ukraine. Such tolerance towards Nazism in Ukraine could lead to its resurgence in other countries, primarily Germany returning to old roots.